No, definitely. Um, also, Maddie touched on this a little bit, but just, when unfortunately injuries are a part of soccer, they are definitely not a good part, and it can be really impactful, and especially for girls who have never gotten injured before. Um, for those of you that have unfortunately gone through injuries, how did you cope with dealing with your injury, both kind of physically, we know that's like rehab and stuff, but mentally, how did you kind of come back? I know Maddie, you kind of just touched on that and you said that um that kind of it's giving you a new perspective, which is awesome and hopefully reinvigorating you to, your love of soccer and whatnot. But is there anything else that you think mentally that kind of helps you? I know for myself, when unfortunately my ACLs, when I've gone through it, it was the first time that I've done that. And leaning on my teammates, and me and Mollie have talked about this a few times, but leaning on people who have gone through similar experiences as you is just really invaluable. And
And,
it's
and
honestly, like, unfortunately, one of those things where if you don't know, you don't know. But people who have gone through that, um, it's awesome to talk to them and understand the troubles that you're going through. But if anyone else has anything to say.
I can talk on this one a little bit. So, obviously, injuries are part of the game, which is just one of those things like that you can't control. And I have talked. So I took my 5th year at Georgia because I tore my ACL, and that was my sophomore year. It was the last game of preseason, or the last training of preseason, right before our first game of the season. I had never had a major injury before. I My body went one way, turned, my knee popped. That was that. And that recovery for me was the worst year of my life. Like, they did not know what was wrong with me. They thought I would never play again. Like, there was just something in my knee that they couldn't figure out. And so from that injury and like forward to this day, I've talked to Marlee about it. Like, number one, you acknowledge how shitty it is. Like, it sucks. It's a new identity. You're especially in the college world, because that's your life every day. It's You're going to training, you're going to practice, you're doing all these things. And so then when you're shifted, and now it's all about changing your perspective and recognizing that, like, you can still be a leader on the team, you can still do all those things. You just have to take a different approach. So like, when I tore my knee, it was then learning how to be a leader from the sidelines. But I just want to throw this out there because I feel so passionately about it. Like, I don't care who you are, like, any girl on this chat, I don't care if we've never met, like, if you ever were injured or if you ever hurt your knee, like, my Instagram is out there. Like, it's I just want to be a resource for any girl who goes through an injury like this, because it's nice to have friends and parents to lean on, but if they haven't been through it themselves, they just don't understand it on that personal level. So take that as you will. Hopefully, you never have to reach out to me about that, but just know that I'm in your corner and I'm there for you. And at the end of the day, the human body is capable of incredible things. Like, I remember after surgery, I was like, oh, I'm never playing soccer again in my life. Like, I can't even walk. And then along with that, just going back to patience, like, patience in itself is a muscle that you have to build and you have to train, and it's what's going to get you back out on that field. So if anyone's going through an injury right now, you got it.
No, it's so true. I broke my leg my freshman year and was like devastating for me. But I think one of the like biggest takeaways I took from that was like not taking everything for granted. So like everything I would complain about, something as simple as like, oh, we have to run today, or it's so hot, we have to go out there. Like, I would have done anything to be out there with my team again. So I think just like being in the moment, being where your feet are, and like just recognizing like if you are going through an injury, like baby steps are steps. Like, now walking and running is like, oh yeah, whatever. But there was a time where like I was struggling to do that. And so I think like just knowing baby steps are steps, and don't take anything for granted, because you only get 4 years. I guess now you can have 5, 6 years of college soccer, but it does come to an end. So I think just like being where your feet are, enjoying every moment.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that's all good advice. Um, Okay. Shifting a little bit, I'd say, how have the lessons that you've learned through college shaped your life beyond the field? Whether that's in your career, your personal life, or, continuing as a pro, what lessons have you learned that really have stuck out to you that's helping you right now? Tori, I'm gonna throw this one to you.
I'm just gonna say, like, even if your soccer journey is over after college, it doesn't have to be over. You can be involved like how I am now. You can still enjoy it and love it. And even if you don't end up playing pro, like you can still be involved. And I've gotten so lucky. I'm so blessed that even after I stopped playing, which I never knew I was going to play my last game, I can still be so involved. Like by working for this league, I've met so many players and I've met so many like pro players and coaches and people, and being able to work for UGA is so much better than I think if I were to ever even played, because I can still do everything and I can do what I love by doing social media. But yeah, I think just going off of that, just you have other things too, and making the transition after soccer by knowing what you love and what you're passionate about is super important, because going into college I didn't know what I wanted to do, but now I'm so glad, and I wouldn't have, wished for it to go any other way. So, if you ever want any social media tips too, my DMs are open and I love to help people out. So, this has been an awesome opportunity for me to come and join. And on that note, I do have to get to UGA practice in 30 minutes. So, I'm going to say a little sayonara, but thank you for letting me join. And, girls, if you have questions or, want to work on your social media, please hit up my DMs. So,
You're awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
thank you guys. I hope the rest of the conversation goes well, and if maybe we'll do another one soon. So,
Yeah. Have a good practice.
thanks guys. Bye-bye.
Okay.
I have
Molly.
2 things off of that. Yep, I'll go. Okay, I'm a big this is like it's lessons, but it's also advice. Like I live for advice. I love asking people what their best piece of advice is. So these are 2 things that apply normal life, through soccer, post life, whatever it may be. So number 1 is that you're always doing better than you think. So celebrate the little things. It sounds cheesy, but we are oftentimes our own worst critics. And at the end of the day, the little things are what lead to the big things. So if you don't just stop and just take a beat, recognize that like what you're doing right now deserves to be celebrated. It's just celebrate the little things. It makes all the difference. And then my second thing is I had an internship while I was in college, and as we wrapped up, we did the same exact thing. The company was asked to go around and give us their best piece of advice, and this woman said to us, "It's not about how much you know, it's about how you make people feel." And I will literally live by that for the rest of my life, because at the end of the day, being a good person gets you so far, aside from soccer. Being a good person just is what is going to help you become an even better player. So that's my 2.
Hey Molly, I'll go because mine's kind of similar. So I think what I took from college is just control what you can control. I feel like this is honestly it's so cliche, I understand that. But um you can't predict what the coach is going to do. You can't predict the mood of the team, like we're girls on a team. Like, how is it going to function every single day? You don't know. So at the end of the day, just don't take things too personal and control what you can control. I think that's my number one. But my second one is be a good teammate. Like have your teammates back. It's just it's a controllable, right? Like you want to be trusted on a team. You want to be that person that someone goes to if they're having a bad day, because then you can go to them. And I think it's so important to be a good teammate and just have your team's back. I think that to me, like I'd rather have uh, a really trusted teammate next to me than like someone with a crappy attitude, or and this sucks the energy out of me, than like someone who can do XYZ on the ball. So yeah, be a good teammate and control what you can control for my team.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And okay, so our last scripted question right here, just falling right underneath the hour. It's a fun one. Everyone's gonna answer this. You can think about it for a second. But what is your best or most fun soccer memory that you had in college? Like what this whole thing, like what it led to, what is a huge soccer memory that you're just like, it could be small, it could be big, but something that you reflect back on when you and your teammates get together and hang out and you're like, oh my gosh, remember this? You know? Mollie, or Paige, were you reaching for the camera? You want to start it?
Oh, I can start. Um I feel like everyone says you don't remember the games, but I feel like that's false. I think my senior year at Columbia, we made the NCAA tournament for the second time in program history and won our first game ever that Columbia ever won in the NCAAs. And I think that was so huge. Just having the joy with all your teammates after that moment, seeing that everything you've put in for the last 4 years have paid off, and that it was all for something, I think was so fulfilling. And honestly, just being around like not just your teammates, but your family and your friends in that moment and supporting you and like recognizing how some people might even not know that happened, but for you, it was such a big thing and a big achievement. That celebrating that win for what it was for us as individuals, as a program, and as a family. I think that was like the best memory I have.
That's awesome. Mollie, you wanna hop in?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Lots of memories. I think for me, personally, like there's no better feeling than stepping onto that field and having the honor of wearing your school's jersey on your chest. Like you go through so much and then it's that euphoric feeling that you literally like I can remember, like I can feel it just thinking about it. There's just nothing like stepping on that field surrounded by your best friends and you guys all grinded so hard, whether that was preseason, summer, whatever that may be, to get to that point. And then my other thing, Marlee, I'm kind of stealing yours, but it's pregame in the locker room with your team. You're all hyping each other up. Like it's so fun. You're just being girls. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll pivot. I'll choose a different one. Because I wasn't allowed to say my pregame, hype circle thing. I'll say the national championship was my favorite. I'm just kidding, Mollie.
That's
Is
tough.
that when you beat Clemson to go,
Yeah.
or was that another time?
No, that was it. That was it. I was about to say, yeah, no, Malia, you look a little familiar. No, that was, I mean, Malia, that bubble was tough. That was the COVID year. That was really hard. Everyone, had different personal things going on. And so the bubble was very, very tough. And I specifically actually remember Clemson, like just to keep this a short story, after we won, because it was a tight game, and we're at Santa Clara, we're like really excited and we're like celebrating after the game. And then we see you guys are, because as soon as you lost in the bubble, your bubble was broken, like you could go. And we saw you guys then like run to your families and give everyone hugs, and we had to get back on the bus, and we were so sad.
That's tough.
It was a tough one. But I mean, obviously I can't complain because yes, like that moment with my with my team was something that we'll always remember when we get back to each other. We had little reunions and we have little celebrations when we got back. It was definitely the most amazing moment of my career, and the fact that I got to do it with my best friends is just makes all the difference. So it was awesome.
Something else that's so cool is getting to play against your club teammates, like your best friends. Then you look at each other across the college field and you're like, holy shit, how are we here? It's crazy.
Malia, do you
Oh, sorry.
You're Maddie. No, either or.
I was just gonna say goal celebrations and pregame was also mine. It's a hot commodity. That's all.
I think for me, which is like people wouldn't think this, but COVID year, like it sucked in so many ways. But honestly, like I think I had like my best years during COVID because our team was so close. We only had each other. So like those bus rides, the hotels, like those are the things that I think we'll forever remember. Like there's so many fun soccer things that happen, but like being with those girls during that time where we're getting tested 4 or 5 times a week, we literally could only see each other. Like I think those are the times that like we just had so much fun.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. We were running Mario Kart tournaments all in the hotel all day, every day.
Love Island.
Loved
Yeah,
That's
it.
what we
literally,
did.
like you're finding things that you probably wouldn't have done if it wasn't COVID. But I think that's what made it even better. It was like, guys, so what are we gonna do? It's only the 25 of us. So like he was
Definitely.
like, we all were on the same page. So I think that like there's not a lot of times you can get 25 girls all on the same page of being like, okay, we're all in it, let's do it.
100%. 100%. Okay, well, that is, all the questions that we have here. Bill, do you want to jump in at all?
I don't see any questions from the audience, and if someone does, they can jump on the chat really quickly. And before I do have one question, but I want to thank again the panel. You guys were fantastic, and I know of many of you, but not know any of you directly, and it's amazing. All of you guys are in the top 1% of what you've done in your soccer lives, but it's amazing how humble you are and how honest you are. And maybe the system just broke you to a point that you realized, while you're great, you're human beings, and it's a tough road. And so I wanted to ask that first question is, were you humble all the time, or were you kind of cocky and arrogant, and in this whole process kind of chiseled you into being more humble, humanistic in your approach and how you are in life now? And I'm gonna do Maliah, because I think Maliah probably had a lot of swag. She was highly recruited, and she's probably the most humble. So why is that, Maliah?
Honestly, and I like the best thing that happened to me was not getting drafted. And it took me a long time to like understand that. But I was like, no one can tell me anything. I'm amazing. Like, and that's just like, I just was like overconfident. And I think that like going to college and being around other people that are also the best from their hometown, their club, their high school, like it was super humbling. So I think now I'm like, okay, I don't need to like be the best. Like I just need to be the best version of me. Like I don't need to compete with other people. So I think like learning that was like really good for me because I definitely was delusional. I've said that multiple times, but like I'm humble enough to say that and know that about myself.
How many years ago was it that you were drafted? What, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
I mean, talk about human growth. Your growth is immense. That's incredible. So you should be proud of yourself.
I mean, ask Abby Mitchell what I was like as a freshman. Like seniors were coming to me telling me the freshmen can't do this, and I'm like, no, but we're going to. But thanks for like the advice.
Abby Mitchell, who's my daughter, who's a part of Proven, and she's a lawyer, and she loves Maliah, and that's why Maliah's here, because she loves Maliah. Maybe she loves the new Maliah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
What about you, Mollie? I mean, you had a lot of swag. You were a big shot, All-American, etc. What about you? Why are you so humble?
Well, I think Malia and I have opposite approaches. A little bit like I really lacked confidence at the beginning, and I had anxiety, and I was nervous to mess up or make mistakes. And like, it's definitely a combination of the two. Like, you need to be humble because you need to fight for yourself and advocate for yourself and show what you got. But you also need to have confidence because that is just as important.
So if you and me were like mixed into one, that's the goal. Like that's
Right?
what needed was like
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's also such a learning curve. Like, you have to get there, you have to experience it, and
Well, the game's
you know,
humbling, and injuries humbled you in a good
for
way.
sure.
I'm going to get to Kaylee's question because it is a fantastic question, but I'm going to let you guys think about it for a second. And my second question, which was I got a text from someone, is this. When you look at these statistics up here, they're daunting. So what Mollie and Marlee, and I'm going to recruit the others of you to become mentors and college advisors. What would you specifically do if one of these girls said, "I need you"? How do I make sure I'm not in the third? Go ahead. You go first, Marlee. Mollie.
Either way, you go, Marlee.
No, you got them all.
I think this entire thing is about having someone to relate to and someone who understands your situation. Like, it is all about relationships. We've been through it, we've done it, and being on the outside, like, we just want girls to have good college experiences and then genuinely enjoy and be happy with their choices. Like, that's all it is. Like, you look at this, you don't want people to transfer. Like, I want you to come to me and be like, what do you think? Like, you've been through it, you've done it. Like, I wish this is something that I had, and that's what I go back to.
Yeah,
I'm such a relationship person. Like, I just want everybody to,
definitely. And I'd say like kind of going off of that, like that's our goal is to do this, but also like for example, I have a call later today with a girl about helping her prepare for a visit. And kind of things that we do is we look at the school that you're going to visit and we help get that information. And we have a list, kind of like what we talked about today is, the questions that you guys were throwing out about what questions you're asking Maliah. You were saying your little sister asked amazing questions that you didn't even think about or that you would have done and stuff. So we've asked all of our friends, and what would you have wanted to know? And we have this amazing list of questions that we help run these girls through to ask, to assess these things and to like not just because you ask a college coach like what's your team culture, they're gonna say it is the best team culture ever, they're amazing, like all these things. That's not getting to the root of what's actually happening, and it's makes sense because they're the salesman of their program, right? um so I think that, like Mollie said, building relationships and, saying like, this is what I wish I would have done during that recruiting process. And not only that, but we have these other players to lean on during this process. Like if someone wants to go to St. Louis and they're like, hey, guess what? You can hop on the phone with Maddie. Like, just for as an example of these people that we want to help connect you with, we want to give you as much information as possible.
Excellent. I appreciate that. So all right, you had a chance to think about Kaylee's great question. And what a pressure cooker going to these ECNL showcases. So her question is, how would you deal with the pressure of club showcases when college coaches come to watch you play?
I mean, it's always a game. It's just a game. You've done it a million times. You're going to do it a million times more. So just always remembering that, like, yeah, there are coaches there, but it's just another game. And then I think it's important to remember that these college coaches, yeah, they're coming, they're watching you, but the vast majority of them aren't staying and watching your whole 90-minute game. The game I got recruited for Columbia for, I actually shanked a ball, passed it to a forward, and got scored on. They didn't see that part. They saw the other 20 30 minutes where I played really well. So like, yes, you need to perform, but I think Maliah said like have a short-term memory. That's huge at these showcases. Like if you make a mistake, maybe some people saw it, but maybe the school you really want to go to didn't, and just move on and keep playing the best you can, because yeah, you never know who's going to see you in what moments. So don't let like one mistake be like, oh my God, I'm never going to get recruited because I saw that this team I really wanted to was at the game. I had this one really bad play. Like that's not how this is going to work. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I also think like just being like a high schooler in those situations, like don't add any more pressure. Don't try to like outplay or over dribble or overshoot, take a bad shot because you're like, oh, I really want to go to Clemson and the head coach is here. Like, I feel like I need to do something. Like, just play your game. There's no need to do more because I feel like actually when you try to do more, you kind of lose like what you're actually good at. So like showcase what you're good at. If you have a really good view of the game, like do that. If you have really good passes, you're smart, like show that. Don't try to be a player you're not because you think a coach is looking for that. Like you'll find the fit for you by just being yourself and playing without trying to be someone you're like not.
Last thing, I always tell myself this, or I would tell myself this during every game: you can't teach hard work. You can't teach hard work. No matter what, if you work hard and you have a good drive and work ethic, like, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's okay to take a deep breath. Like in terms of dealing with nerves in general, like college coaches, they're just like nervous before a game. It's so important just to like, you know,
Maddie, we've kind of lost you for some reason. Yeah, you're, we can't hear you.
Oh,
There you are. There you are. Go ahead, kiddo.
sorry, I think it was covering it. But I was just gonna say, and you probably just saw my hands moving. But I think in terms of nerves, like in general, college coaches or just like a big game or whatever, it's so important just to like take a deep breath. You know, like your nervous system's probably going crazy, and sometimes it's hard, like you're spinning. And you know, that's I don't know if anyone's seen the movie Inside Out or Inside Out 2, but obviously anxiety was introduced. Can relate to that homegirl a little bit. And to be honest, like it's so important to breathe, you know? So just when you are nervous, it's okay to be like, yo, I'm nervous, and like just take a couple breaths.
Exactly, kind of going off of that, I think one of the best things that I learned from college and from my coach was routine is really important and it can really help you in those scenarios. And I think kind of just having something like a little routine that you do pre-game and stuff, he would say, you know, you're doing the same routine whether we're playing a preseason scrimmage or we're in the national championship. And honestly, when we did get to that big game, the fact that I had a routine really did help me because and you obviously have to be careful. Don't let routine fall into superstition because that's not what it is. It's it's falling into something, the controlling the controllables honestly is what it is, and that's all you can do. And like it kind of relates to what everyone else said, hard work can help get you there. And but like kind of Paige said, at the end of the game, it's a game. You know how to play. You just need to trust your ability, and you're there for a reason. So that's all you really got to trust.
Great answers. Next question, and I know Mollie and Marlee can stay on. Maliah and Maddie and Paige, if you need to go, I totally understand. But we probably got 5 or 10 minutes more of questions. The next one is Jessica's best advice for high school sophomore for enjoying high school, etc., but seeing the big picture and doing the work when others are doing fun stuff. My daughter is driven, but also has 3 years left in high school. And as a parent, I want to support her the best I can. How did you stay focused and keep your eye on the prize when you're 15 and 16 years old? What did you need from your parents? Wonderful question.
It's a really good question.
That's awesome. That's such a great question. And the fact that you're so inquisitive about it, I think is just already so helpful for your daughter. But I would say, at least from my perspective, in high school, I played basketball all 4 years and I played soccer for the first two. I was obviously doing club soccer, which is where a lot of it comes in. But for high school, I was having fun in my sports, and for me, having fun was playing basketball rather than high school soccer, and being able to really find that balance of enjoying the sport that you're playing while also not there's such a fine line to teeter. And I think that really enjoying the moment and understanding that soccer is hard, and obviously it's go time for looking for recruiting and stuff, but at the same time you have to enjoy what you're doing, because if you're not enjoying it at that age, you're going to have a heck of a lot harder time in college when it's really 24/7 and it's your job. You have to find the balance of it in yourself, and every person's balance is different. Like for me, how outlet from soccer is not going to be the way that Mollie outlets from soccer, or Maddie or Maliah or Paige. You know, I think really understanding and taking that time to figure out what's important to you and what you can do aside from that to keep that love for the game is what's going to push you further. Because if you're just all business, especially early in high school, that's not going to be sustainable for long, in my opinion.
Yeah. I this is a really, really good question. Because I can remember it definitely felt isolating at times, like especially when you're in high school and you're in the middle of that social circle, dances, parties, blah, 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 all those things. And so I can remember it feeling isolating, especially when you're having to make these choices and these sacrifices to say, go to a training, or, you're gone for an ID camp or whatever. So I think
it's a 50-50 split between the player or the girl, the child, and the parent. So from the kid's perspective, it's reminding myself like why I'm doing this. Like I had this vision in high school that I wanted to go play college soccer. So it's holding yourself accountable, which is harder because you're younger and you don't know as much and you're like, but I want to go to this or whatever. It's also this balance of like parents also reminding you that the sacrifices are going to add up. That's really my 2 cents. And I think that I actually had a conversation with a little high school girl today, and I was just talking to her about she plays soccer, but she doesn't want to play in college. And I was saying that's really good that you know that you don't want to play in college, because if you are not 100% certain that this is what you want to do, then don't do it. So, all in all, I hope that helped or made sense. It's just a balance of remembering your why as the player and as the parents, reminding and supporting of what will come from these sacrifices.
And I think going off of that, I had such a good balance of, because I was very different. Like I also wanted to be a high schooler. I wanted to enjoy the things that other people were doing, but I also was like super motivated for soccer. So something my parents did that I think really helped me was they were like, okay, find time for soccer and then go do what you want to do with your friends. So if that was I had to wake up a little earlier and go shoot around, dribble outside, whatever it was, so that I also could prepare myself to the best to play college soccer. But then later that day, I could still go meet up and go to the mall with my friends. So just finding a balance between being able to do both, because it's both possible. But even if it was something simple as like meeting up with friends for a study group, like I still was getting that like social aspect, but I was also able to still go to training later in the afternoon. So I think just finding a happy, good balance. And my parents also were like on board with that too. Like, hey, you can get to do both, but like kind of do your soccer and then you have the rest of the day.
I also say though, like high school kids need tough love. Like they need that reminder of like, this is what you got to do if you want to get here to here. I think my parents did a good job at balancing, but also being realistic and straight up with me and being like, what are your priorities?
I think helping your high schooler also realize like there are multiple different paths to walk on the college soccer journey. Like not everyone has to go D1, D2, and D3 offer a lot of great opportunities in different ways and can balance your priorities differently. So like yeah, helping figure out priorities, because there are still tons of opportunities even if you're not like, oh, I'm going 100% soccer all the time and I'm never going to have a social life. And you don't need to do that to go D1 either, but I'm just saying that like if you can kind of help them find that balance now in high school, it will help them also figure out that balance that they want to have in college and what level is the best fit to balance those priorities and what they enjoy.
And also at the end of the day, shout out to parents, because we would not be here without you. Like you guys are the backbone to your kids. You are the rock stars. You are the ones who feed us that love and give us that support. Like I don't think our parents are told that enough, but
Definitely. I feel like also coaching a little bit, understanding that, the parents are the ones picking up, dropping off. They're doing all these things. They're taking time out of their day to do all this is really amazing. And honestly, I agree. My mom was awesome during the whole like high school process, but she knew I had to be the one driving it, so she was there to give me that support when I needed it. And on the days, obviously there's going to be days when it's tough and you're not feeling it and you're not wanting to do it. And those are the days where my mom came in and was just like, "Hey, like we're doing, you're doing this." And I couldn't drive at that time. And she's like, I'm taking you to practice. Like, we're in this together. And I think really just showing your high schooler that you have their back and you want this for them and they want it. And so you're willing to support them, even though at the time they might not be able to see it. I think we could all agree that a little time and maybe after post college gives you some better reflection about how much sacrifice your parents made is definitely that. But it's really incredible. And just honestly being curious about how to support your high schooler, it kind of just speaks volumes, I think, in itself.
Okay. Well, this looks like the last one. No, okay, from Tashore. Tashore's question is, when did you start going to ID camps?
It was so long ago, guys. I don't like. I actually Um, was it high school, I guess? Like freshman and sophomore year, maybe? I committed late. I committed as a junior. But I think for me it was freshman, sophomore year, I think.
Yeah, I would say end of middle school, high school. From my experience, I got recruited mostly, I would say, due to ID camps. So I am a number one advocate of go to those ID camps, make relationships, connections, put yourself out there. It's a chance for these coaches to see your personality and see how you treat other people, how your kids treat strangers, or how you girls, are able to jump on a field with 6 new teammates, and it's all about getting to go smaller on those details. So I recommend ID camps all the way.
I think it was really like freshman year, but I also want to, for all the players on this, like we had a very different recruiting timeline. I think all of us, because we could actually be talking to coaches before our junior year. So when we're like, oh, we're recruited late or all that, like just bear in mind that we had a very different timeline with what we were allowed to communicate with coaches. But yeah, freshman, end of 8th grade to freshman, sophomore year was big ID camp.
Yeah, I agree. I was also end of 8th grade, freshman, sophomore year. But I think one of the really cool things about going to ID camps too was being able to walk the campus and seeing kind of what things kind of ticked my boxes and what didn't. And, I didn't need a guided tour, didn't need anything like that. But I saw walking around and doing it and the things itself. And, ID camps too are a great way to see the coaches, but a lot of players work ID camps too. So that is also a really fantastic way to see what the players are like and, how what their personalities are like and also how they interact with each other, I think is a great way to think.
This is one small tangent really quickly. So I had committed to Georgia, and my mom was very, like we all talk about, the importance of picking a school because you would want to go there for this school. My mom, after I committed, was like, I want you to go on a regular tour. Like you can sign up, go for like a student will take you on a tour. So we did that. We went on a tour, and like middle of the tour, the coaching staff from the soccer team walks by, and they're like, what? So I don't know. It's a funny story, but it's just agreed. It's important to see the campus and get a feel for all aspects of the game and school academics.
So I think that's all the questions we had. So with that, ladies, bravo, you did fantastic. You were very generous with your time, and audience, we sincerely appreciate you. If you have any questions, these ladies who have found this entity are here to elevate and basically, especially make sure you all end up in the right place and won't have any regrets. So whatever they can do, they're happy to talk to you, on their, you want to spend an hour or two with them for free to make sure you're going the right direction. Absolutely. We're about elevating you all. That's our foremost priority. And with that, thank you, Mollie, Marlee, Maliah, Paige, and Maddie. And root on Maddie. She's going to come back, and we're all racing Louisville fans, right?
Hey, thanks everybody, and thanks Bill. This was so cool to be a part of, and thanks for everyone who attended it. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I really wish I had this when I was kind of in this process.
Same.
Game changer.